Waiting for things to connect. Don't know if YouTube's connected or not. Should be. Says I am. That's okay. Seems I stored up a hornet's nest of demons. Spiritual demons. Not that the individuals are demons. I'm not saying that. Never have, never will. But it is what it ain't. Just focus over here. Because I know not a single person that thinks they're attacking me about my faith could walk a mile in my shoes. Hell, I can't even walk a mile. But couldn't last a day or a week with what I have to go through. I don't share it all. Why should I? It's obvious. Nobody cares. A lot of lip service. Not much action. I don't think most people in the modern first world, a first world country, could handle what I have to deal with. Third world countries, give them credit. Because that's basically what I have to deal with on a regular basis. Make sure I have shelter, hopefully have food and drink. Yeah, I may look like big like Santa Claus, but over 100 pounds of it is health related. But whatever. We'll sit here and see if anybody shows up. If you're here, say hello. Hi, thumbs up, whatever. Or not. Funny thing is, people that accuse you of being judgmental are in turn themselves being judgmental, making that statement. Y'all don't know me. Want to get to know me? I'm actually a pretty good guy. Try to be. Yeah, I have veteran humor. Be a little raunchy at times. I'm not a perfect Christian. But it's how I live my life. I trust that God will provide Jehovah Jireh or Jehovah Jireh in His timing, not mine. I wish His timing was faster. Oh, heck yeah. But it is what it ain't. Enjoy the many blessings that you have. If you're able to work, enjoy the jobs that you have as best as you can. No, not all. Sometimes they just pay the bills. But if you got friends, appreciate them. The people that call you friends, appreciate them. They're saying a lot, especially when they have very few to begin with. I was hoping to try and split off my faith side over to the ministry side of the channel, and try to keep this one veteran and radio related, but it's all interrelated. It's all meshed together. I can no longer put my faith aside. Then you can take, well, then you can take the beating heart out of your chest and set it down. It ain't happening. And I have to say that because I know if I try to use many other body parts, unfortunately, too many fellow brothers and sisters in arms have lost those body parts to war. Unfortunately for me, I just lost my teeth to Mountain Dew, combined with truck driving, where you don't have, well, at the time, not readily available facilities to always brush your teeth. But whatever. So if you want to come on my stream or comment after the stream's over, more power to you. But understand this: to not warn someone of danger ahead and to be nonchalant and don't care about it. Oh, they're fine. They can just drive off that cliff. I ain't worried about it. No, that is evil. To to put up a warning sign and wave your arms, say, "Hey, watch where you watch it, stop, don't do it." That shows you care. So don't get the two conflated. Yes, in the end times they shall call evil good and good evil. To sit by and not try to warn. I didn't attack anybody when I put out the warning. I didn't make any personal attacks. It was spiritual that I was after. But that's okay. I know when I'm not wanted, and I will dust my sandals off every time. You're not welcome. Dust your sandals off and move on. Yeah, I may not be able to get out and do a whole heck of a lot. And with a mobility scooter, I could do a lot more. But I would give the shirt off my back to help every single homeless person, especially a homeless veteran. We are an RV mobile ministry. And we go where we say where God tells us to. We go where we told to go when we're led to go. Yeah, we need all sorts of help and support. Did you try doing it, feeding a family of three on less than $1,000 a month, and also paying insurance, gasoline, groceries, cell phone bill? Could you trust that the Lord will A, provide for you because you're unable to work for health reasons, and B, to just do your best to not rely on the government to eat, follow where God leads, trust that you will have food every day as God provides? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not steak and seafood and shrimp and lobster, but it's sustenance. Could you pack up everything you own, whittle it down to barely fitting into an RV or motorhome, and go out and just point your vehicle, point your vehicle and trust in God, trust in the Lord. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I get my directions wrong. but I know everything works to His good, to His glory. Most of my subscribers here have came from Veteran Nation and or Spawn Trooper and a few others. And thank you for subscribing if you are. And I'm probably gonna have a lot fewer subscribers after this. Woohoo! I was up to 81. I'll tell you what, I will not bow down my faith. Oh, you're more than welcome, Wee to me. Again, I'm talking about faith today. Now I won't back down, and most people couldn't do what me and my family are doing, which is trusting in the Lord. Yeah, we're poorer for it financially, but spiritually, I tell you what, our resolve is stronger than ever. But my stream yesterday got an interesting comment, and I was kind of commenting to that and to another comment that was made on over on the Veteran Nation channel on that same stream. I got called evil for basically just throwing out a warning sign to not, bridge is gone, bridge is out. There's a cliff ahead. Don't go over it. Apparently, speaking truth to what lies ahead is evil, according to some people. 'Cause I know you're over on you follow Veteran Nation and watch his stuff, watch Skipper. I'm not gonna, what he's doing overall is great, but I made a off-color joke, being a veteran, trying to make a joke to to another Navy veteran one time, and I am rude and everything for it. Well, I'm sorry they took it the wrong way, and I apologize, but I'm being judgmental. But I need to self-reflect because I'm supposed to be a man of God. How dare you? Hey, I'm not perfect, but yeah, I self-reflect every day. I've got nothing but time, and it's all I do every day is self-reflect to make sure that I'm in line with scriptures. Yes, my bad humor, aka my veteran humor. Well, I'm sorry that I made a joke they took offensively, and when I realized I took it offensively, I never said anything else about that person. To be nice, to be nice. That person, I made the joke, and I made it as lighthearted as I could, and I know other people wanted to make the same joke ahead of time, but didn't. But yet, you know, as, as I was saying, I don't know how much you've caught or didn't catch, but so I'm developing a few haters. That's fine. I don't mind developing a few haters. Uh, oh, man, go take care of that. Anybody else here? It says two viewers. Go ahead and say hello. If it's my lovely wife, I'll say hello to you if you're here. But uh, sit here and hold out as long as I can, as far as the stream goes.
Excuse me, there is a message for you.
Other device. Uh, what can I say? What can I say? Hmm? Yeah, there's that whole saying, you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. Well, I consider warning people about dangers being nice. Iceberg ahead. Turn. Don't sink like the Titanic. There's an iceberg. Oh no, keep your mouth shut. I'm sorry. Don't tell me to keep my mouth shut. I'll scream from the rooftops if I have to. You're going to tell someone who is a veteran, a security officer, a truck driver, someone whose hobby is communicating, two-way communication on radios, and lives in the United States of America, to keep their mouth shut. You should just shut up. No, evil's in front of me. I'm going to say something. And if I have the ability to do something, I will. But it was not my stream. It's not my channel. So I spoke truth and I left. And I thought that's what the owner of the channel, the primary operator of the channel, slash part owner, wanted me to do, was to do more with, sharing my faith. But since a couple of people have shown up on his stream, He told me to try to do more streams and stuff regarding my faith, but yet I'm the one person he won't have his on as a guest anymore. Well, there's somebody else he'll never have as a guest anymore, and whatnot. But that's for totally different reasons. But as far as a fellow veteran, yeah, but that's his show, his channel. He can do with it as he pleases. Ain't got no qualms about that, none whatsoever. Hi, AVA. Yeah. Well, let's put it this way. I don't think you'll be seeing me much around Skipper's stream anymore, around the Veteran Nation stream anymore, because my faith is too offensive. And man, my bad humor, my corny bad humor. But nice to see you. So whether or not you stick around with me on occasion or unsubscribe from me, that's up to you. I get it. If you want to come on with me and discuss things, do that too. And we can send you a link.
Excuse me, there is a message for you.
Well, the thing is, I care so much who I upset. Because that's who I am. It's part of who I am. I've been a Christian most of my life. Yeah, I haven't been perfect. I've backslid and gone astray a few times and whatnot, but I've seen God's hand in bringing me back to Him. I've seen what I've personal firsthand experience seeing what false prophets and teachers and prophetesses and the like do and destroy people. And I'm not going to sit. And as I said at the beginning of my stream, I'll say it again. I'll say it over and over. If I see anybody I care about, or anybody, period. If I see that the bridge is out ahead, or there's a cliff, I'm going to stand there and try to throw up warning signs, wave my hands in the air, do whatever I can, because I don't want to see people hurt. And then it was even worse when there was a person that was hurt right there live in front of my face. Now, that person might think that I'm rude. I'm a condescending butthole and everything else, but I don't mean nothing. As a Christian, as a fellow veteran, I'm gonna. I care about my brothers and sisters in arms. I care about you, AVA. I get, and I don't truly push my faith and religion on anybody. I share from my experiences on occasion, but I'm not saying, oh, you must believe this, 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 and this. You must subscribe to the Catholic or the Lutheran or the Wesleyan or the Baptist. I theologies. I don't push a theology on anybody, a specific doctrine. It's basic Christian gospel, the good news, the caring news, the loving news. And I say loving news because the loving news, letting you know that hell is up ahead, that the demons are there, that are surrounding your door, and you're about to open the door and let them all in. In the words of a song I heard as a teenager, shut the door, keep out the devil. Shut the door, kick the devil in the eye. Yeah, shut the door, keep out the devil. Light the candle, everything's all right. That's the way I am. I mean, why do you think everyone refers to PTSD, shell shock, whatever era you're from, as the demons inside your head? Because they are. They're demons attacking, telling you weren't good enough in that incident, bringing you down spiritually, breaking you down. And God is standing there, Christ when he was on the cross and risen again, holes in his hands, light shining through. Wouldn't be so much hands; it would have been right in the wrist. All is forgiven. Come enjoy the peace in your spirit and your soul. The reason I've been signing off with shalom. Shalom is both a greeting and an exit. Peace unto you. Peace go with you. And it doesn't mean peace from war. It means a spiritual peace. Because the spirits are at war. There are angels, there are demons, and they are at war for your soul. And I am going to pray. I see stuff like that. I'm I'm going to cry watching people I care about, people I consider family. AVA, Skipper, Angry Vet, Spawn Trooper, TC, Squid Pro Quo, and the many others around Veteran Nation and other channels. You're a fellow veteran. I consider you family. And when I'm watching, you open the door to demons and spiritual attacks that will destroy you. You want me, a fellow fighter? Yes, I was in the Navy. I was a sailor. I wasn't no gung ho Marine. I wasn't no grunt ground pounder in the Army. I did my part the best I could, and even that wasn't that great. I had to switch around parts. But as someone who believes in service to others, if I see something that's going to harm you, and I don't at least say something, then I am evil. For evil to abound, good people must stand idly by and do nothing. So to sit there and not say a word is to sit idly by and do nothing. That quote was said about the Holocaust, regarding Hitler and the Holocaust. But the spiritual warfare that's going on is way more intense than that ever was. And we are in the end times, and the spiritual warfare is at its highest. I'll not force my specific way of believing on anybody, but I'm a non-denominational. Welcome back, we to me. I just it rips at my soul. It tears at me to watch what happened, to see what happened for the few minutes I was in that stream yesterday. Because first I watched somebody get roped in with falsities and niceties and this, that, and the other, and then got tore down. Yes, I'm a Navy veteran. I'm a truck driver. I've been a truck driver. I've been a security officer. My language is out there. Read all this here so I can read it. Yes, I can get upset. It's called righteous indignation, AVA. I can be upset because I have a brotherly love that's deep for my fellow man, and especially for my fellow veterans. When you were Army, there's a field of landmines, and your best buddy just signed up and doesn't know about that field. Your buddy or your cousin or whatever from your hometown shows up there with your unit or neighboring unit and starts to walk out there into those landmines, not knowing where they are. Are you going to stop them just because You don't believe everything the same way he does just because you have a different experience. Are you gonna stop them because you care for them? You don't want to see them blown to smithereens, or you're just gonna sit back and just, it's not my problem, not my circus, not my monkeys. He's not exactly my unit. He's not under my command. I can't tell him what to do. I didn't say anything too harsh or too drastic. But the thing is, AVA, I do understand it. I understand what was going on out of respect for Skipper, the channel, and the person themselves. Because the person themselves, it was a nice person in general. I have no qualms against them as an individual. But what they are doing was putting others in harm and spiritual harm. But that's why I will not go back. Yes, I will respect your religion to practice. It's not. I used to have a best friend and roommate who was a Wiccan and had the Wiccan Bible. As an individual, your beliefs are your beliefs. I can't change that. But I have witnessed, personally witnessed, some things that I've witnessed demon possession because it was who was speaking through that bush. Because here's one thing that has been twisted by many of the Christian religions. When we die, we don't initially go to heaven. Wait. That's why Christ himself said, one, Lazarus was just sleeping. And we refer to it as rest in peace. Two, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. What does that mean? It means those who have passed on. They shall rise first before the living. So our grandmothers, our favorite relatives are not angels. They're not spirits. Those are demons that are there pretending to be your loved ones. But we have gotten so distorted and become so accustomed to, oh, there's ghosts that walk among us that haven't passed on yet, yada yada, because Satan is the great deceiver. If even Christians have become accustomed to that teaching, to that Seeing that on a lot of TV shows and stuff. All right, love you, brother. Not arguing. I'm sharing my perspective, and you can love it, you can hate it, you can respect. But I mean, that's what's there are many things that are wrong. Hey, honey, I'm streaming. But eh, I come off rough and gruff because I don't tickle ears. I'm not going to tell you that that boiling oil is ice cold. No worries. Go ahead and jump in. It's fine. It's great for your complexion. Don't worry. I'm not that kind of person. Okay, dear. Nice to see you. Oh, always, AVA. Give me a big old hug and smooch. Uh, yes, and there are even practices in the so-called Catholic Christian Church that are not. There are more idolatry than they are true to Scripture. I mean, it was Satan's way of creeping into the church, and I mean, it's yeah. Yes, as Christians, we are to call out evil because it wouldn't be love if we didn't. And that's another thing is that's gotten so conflated in the modern times is what's love. You know, a true brotherly love. We care about one another. Again, I mean, it's the analogy. If you see, I mean, if here's a saying, modern saying, if you see something, say something. Because, and here's another thing that was, kind of mentioned, is that, you know, well, how do you know it's evil if you don't know? One of the things, one of the gifts I have been blessed with by the Lord, the gifts of the Holy Spirit, is spiritual discernment. Now, a lot of times I've ignored it and hoping that someone's better than they actually are. But there are times when things are just so demonic There's so much demonic influence amongst it that I could be, I'm around the other side of the world or whatever, and I can feel it. And I know to pray. But I'm also going to say something. And I didn't say much. If you were there, you saw I basically said three things. Well, two phrases, three, basically, like said something like three times, a few couple times. Do not be led astray, and you know, beware, beware of false prophetesses, prophets and prophetesses. So, if I were to follow all those fun little astrology and things like that, that would make me your god, AVA. My name is Eric, which means kingly ruler. Under the Chinese zodiac, I'm a dragon. Under the more well-known zodiac, I'm an Aries. So I have a name with kingly ruler as the name and double cardinal signs. That's where a lot of that stuff falls apart. But I know that the God I believe in begat a son through a virgin, and through that, he rose from the dead in perfect, well, in human form. I was a spirit. Hey, I totally get it. Mine's been funny too, but you're here to hang with me and push my buttons, get my goat. But how do we know? Well, do you realize that the one book of the Bible that talks about it is the book of Luke? You know what Luke was before he was a disciple? Before he was an apostle? He was a doctor, he was a physician. So who better than to speak to that, to the miraculous, the miraculous nature of those things than the physician, the doctor? Because you got to realize the disciples weren't all younger than Jesus. Some of them were older because the very first miracle his mother asked him to perform, the water into wine, he even said himself, "It is not yet time." But his mother insisted. The reason we don't hear about the rest of it is because, well, basically, it's important. Oh, we're going to hear about how basically he learned carpentry skills from his earthly father. Oh, he made a table and chairs for this family. He made a tent for this other family. Uh, I mean, we do hear about his young adult life during the trip to the temple, and his parents forgot him, left without him, because he was there teaching the scholars, the theologians that were much older than him. So, what's important is mentioned. How can we not? How can we describe God? Well, in a way, God Himself might be that dark matter, as we've been calling it, the dark matter and everything, the space in between the spaces. But if you were, you know, I know this isn't perfectly round, but what does anybody on a small dot inside this area, inside this galaxy, what are they going to see of me? Nothing. We operate in what 3/4 dimensions. God is in all the dimensions, and boy, yeah, yeah, I'll say that right. Uh, his breath. Here's the funny part. You're talking. You're saying Christian God, Jehovah, Yahweh was here at the beginning. He created the beginning, the Alpha and Omega, beginning and end. Chronunos, yeah, may or if I whatever, um, may have been a false. Pardon me, but I'm going to call it a false religion. Is before Christ, but not before Yahweh. Your belief is your belief, but I would really encourage you to look deeper and to truly seek with an open mind and heart. That's all I can ask. That's all any of the disciples asked, was to truly look at the evidence, of which there's plenty, that has not been debunked. I can share my personal faith and history with you and how I know he's real. Am I perfect? I am far from perfect. I make mistakes all the time. but I strive to be like Christ. I strive to share and have that agape, unconditional love for others. But I have seen too much. I have witnessed too much. I have seen the demons fighting for souls. I remember seeing the demons before I even know who Christ was. Some of them kind of look like trolls, but yeah, you can. Well, see, that's a little conflated. Culture and religion are two separate things. All right, wait a minute. Again, I'm not going to tell somebody to turn around, don't drown. I'm saying, oh, go right ahead. Those railroad crossing gates are down. Go ahead, just drive right on over. Get hit by a train. I don't care. No, can't do that. It's not in my DNA. It's not really in anyone's DNA. You have to fight that. Yeah, a lot of evil has been done in the name of every religion. A lot of bad things have been done in the name of every religion, not just Christianity. And many of them were fought in the name of Allah, and are still being fought in the name of Allah. Heck, you were in one. Whether it was the name of Allah or the name of greed, whichever side you want to look at it from, it was still named in the name of a false god. But if you truly read and dug deep into the scriptures, yes, a spiritual warfare, and I have a respect and love for you, AVA. I don't want to disparage and say, yeah, I want to hold back on saying things. That's why I just encourage you to focus, put all the nonsense of the centuries behind you, push that away, dig into the central core facts. If you want to know the truth, and the truth shall set you free, then yes, dive into scriptures, dive into all the historical evidence of all the gods. Don't just look at Christianity, look at Buddhism, look at Hinduism, look into them all. Druidism. I don't tell anyone just to take my word for anything. Just like the disciples of Christ, the original apostles. Don't take my word for it. Look for yourself. Are you truly free? Are you truly free? Are you spiritually free? So you don't. Uh, are Are you spiritually free, or are you handcuffed and tied down to medications to help? Because I believe, and my wife can attest to this, because she suffers from PTSD as well. The more she has put her faith in the one true God, the less she's affected by PTSD. Compared to when we first met. My wife was having many nightmares a night when we first met. Now it's only when she gets just depressed or angry and gets her mind out of whack when she really has a PTSD episode. It's taken years to get to that point, but and it's also taken some concessions on my end a little bit. Sometimes you have to pet my beard like I'm a service animal, but that's fine. But that's what I'm here for as her husband, to be there for her, to help her calm down before she gets to that point. I am, she is my helpmeet, I am hers. And up until my health got to the worst point, it literally was, when I was still able to work, we were literally, what I could do, she couldn't, what I couldn't do, she could. And some of the things that we're having similar health issues on. Do I believe God could heal us? Yes. Do I believe He allows us to have these health issues? Yeah, I believe He allows them because it helps bring greater glory to Him. Because by me having the health issues, I'm not working a job and being distracted by worldly things, keeping up with the Joneses or whatever, to focus more on faith. Okay, I'll to quote what someone else has said. It has out there on YouTube. Well, it's not so much on YouTube, but quote what a certain street preacher has said. You can be right, or I can be right, or we can both be wrong, but we both can't be right. We can both be wrong, but we both can't be right because of what Christ himself has said, what God has said in the Old Testament. And yes, Christ was there in heaven in the Old Testament, in Genesis 1, in Genesis. I got kicked out of the Jehovah's Witness Bible study for referencing the triune God. One person, three manifestations. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. The Word is Jesus Christ. Yeshua HaMashiach. Yeshua the Messiah. Now, if you speak to me in Hebrew, I probably won't understand most of what you say, or Greek, or even German. I'm part German, but not everything. Because if you focus on the side, Christianity is not a religion. Religion is man's way of seeking a God or gods. Christianity was God through Christ coming to save man. What other religion have they given of themselves to suffer innocently and be punished for you, for me, for everyone? It's not a cult of control. There are those that twist it into such to control your wallet, to buy them a jet plane, to buy them a new Lamborghini, or put personalized plates on their vehicle. There are those that twist the scripture to sit there and say slavery is good when it is not. They twist the word of God. They read the words out of the context. Celtic Jesus. It's okay. Then why was Saint Patrick so popular and celebrated today? And it's not because of no alcohol, no beer. It's because he used one, he helped drive the snakes out of Ireland, and he used the three-leaf clover to represent the triune God. But did Love for Lou, or how you want to say that name, did he rise again and perfect, as perfect as can be, human form, didn't kill the snakes. He drove them out of Ireland. That's what St. Patrick is known for. He helped drive the snakes out of Ireland. But he started off as a slave to Ireland. He was a slave first. And then he came back with a love for the people, so much so to share who Christ was in the gospel. So the Irish holiday, kiss me, I'm Irish, give me more beer, stumble through the streets in a wheelbarrow. That's all wrong. Oh, you might as well say there were no snakes in Malta. I've been to Malta. I ended up getting a special port of call in Malta when I served, and that was the closest to any land other than Athens and Corfu, Greece, as well. Those three ports of call, because we didn't quite get Israel like we were supposed to because of what was going on when I served, were the closest to where the disciples and Christ walked, and Paul in the snake incident in Malta. No bones of snakes have ever been found. If they're driven out, hello, yeah, okay. Actually, most the Druids converted to Christianity. uh, which is why Druidism wasn't nobody wasn't a very well known religion for a long, long time. See, now you're going into the paleontology and the chronology and the whole carbon dating. Prehistoric. What's prehistoric? Snakes themselves live a long time, and most snakes, especially the smaller ones, are so their bones are so brittle that pretty much the only evidence we find of anything nowadays is because it was in Noah's flood, the flash flood. Heck, I am sitting right here where there was a flood. Where I'm sitting here in Austin, Texas, had a 100-year flood, a flash flood that destroyed people's homes. But right now, if I go out there, I can't find any evidence of those homes anymore. I can't find any evidence of pottery or anything else because it was all cleaned up. A rain, the sun, the moisture, because Ireland is a very green place. Well, maybe it's from all the fertilizer, that's natural fertilizer from the decomposing of snakes. What's that we too? Let's see. It's not my job to convince you, AVA. I'm not trying to convince you. All I ask you to do is to really look at the evidence, not be have this sore attached because, oh, my people in the past. Oh, this happened here. Oh, this happened there. No, push all that aside. Push away the distractions. Look at the truth. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to attack you specifically, AVA. So I apologize if it comes across like that. So, but please don't take this as a personal affront to you. I'm just sharing my knowledge. Now, do I know everything? No. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. I mean, my favorite thing of linking history to present, or well, at the time it was present, was I served in the mid 90s, 94 to 96. One of our port of calls that we went to a couple of times was Trieste, Italy. Okay, I'm back now. One of our port of calls was Trieste, Italy. There's a castle in Italy called Miramare Castle that was uh, belonged to Emperor Maximilian. Emperor Maximilian was the emperor of Mexico during the Texas cessation from Mexico, or AKA the Tex-Mex War, when Texas became a republic. At that time, California, the territory of California, was part of Mexico. Emperor Maximilian, it says right there on his statue, was originally from Habsburg, Austria. Who else was from Habsburg, Austria? Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. He was originally from Habsburg, Austria. He became the governor of the territory, now Republic of California. You living in California, I think you'd find that interesting. I may have said it to you before. I don't know. But you also have to look at, you know, evidence of snakes or whatever. You also have to look at what has gone on in Ireland in the last 2,000 years, or bump it up in the last 1,000 years. The battles between the Catholics and the Protestants, between the Irish and the British. And sometimes that can add that those deaths can, well, gruesome and sorrowful as they may be, have added to helping keeping Ireland green. But then the lady. Here's another fun fact. My wife is half Irish. Her father was adopted as an infant directly from Ireland. Ever seen my God? I don't have to see. Faith has been leaving in what you cannot see. Just because I see the wind as it blows through the trees? No. I can see I can see the limbs and the leaves blowing. I can see the anemometer on my weather station show me that the wind's blowing through the trees. But can I physically see the wind? Yes, the Spanish Inquisition, and you're going back into just where people have distorted. I mean, heck, some of them use, especially the Catholic Church, to rule over the people, to keep them dumb. No, I don't believe in that. And the Bible doesn't say to do that. The Bible just it says to share,
there is a
show
message
love.
for you.
And all I can do is plant a seed. All I can say is, hey, here's the seed. What kind of ground it falls on is up to you. Are there too many weeds? Too dry and too rocky? Yes, and you know how many people have died because they refused to give up their Christian faith? And can I say, and are still dying for such? Here's another fun fact. If Christianity was such a minor religion, as people try to say it is, oh, it's nothing. Christianity is all is this fake religion, blah blah blah. It should have petered out one a long time, 2,000 years ago. Two, why would people die for their faith? Die for it? Three, why is it under such attack now here in the United States? Why is it that? Oh, because you believe a child in the womb that God knows the hairs on your head in the womb. Oh, because you believe in life and not murder and to the sacrificing innocent infants to the gods. You're wrong. You are evil because you don't subscribe to killing children. No, I don't, because nobody ever celebrates my birthday. My birthday has never had a celebration. My 48 years of life, I've never had a real birthday celebration. Hanging out with the friends, having a beer or two, or whatever, having a birthday party. I never got one because my birthday falls in April. It's too close to tax time. We don't have the money. But your younger brother, his birthday's 2 months prior, so all your friends go to his birthday party, and that you can just deal with it. You can't even have any friends overnight. No, 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 no. Can't have that. But I can say that occasionally, once every few years, my birthday falls on Easter. So my birthday celebration is celebrating the resurrection of Christ. That I do like. Yes, and let me burn a stick to other false gods. And one of the things I said earlier, or at the very beginning, and this is not to you, AVA, this is in general. Actually, depends upon what priest of what. But anyways, yeah, that's Catholicism. Catholicism took in a lot of pagan rituals. They're the ones that chose December 25th, the winter solstice, for Christ's birthday. If anything, 9/11 is closer to Christ's birthday than Christmas is. Now, as I was starting to say, this isn't against you, AVA. This isn't against anyone. But the life I walk every day, the life my wife walks every day, and a first world
Excuse
country
me, there is a message for you.
such as the United States, most people couldn't handle. Yeah, I need a mobility scooter. Yeah, my health ain't the greatest. If you realize everything else that we deal with on a daily. I'll put it this way, AVA. I would love for my daughter to have a grandparent she could talk to and go see. We would love to be able to rent or buy a house instead of living in an RV. That a lot of things don't work, and that was basically bought for us with no input from us. We would both me and my wife would both love to be able to go out and work a regular job. We would like to have all of our children home with us that our exes kept from us, and now some of them are grown. I wished I could get some sort of income, whether it's being a guest preacher in love tithes, or not even love, not tithes. Tithing is 10%, but love donations, being a guest preacher at churches, or pastoring a church. But I'm so gruff and rough. No one knows exactly when Jesus' birthday is, but following the historical evidence, I believe they put his birthday around the August-September timeframe because of when the census was taken and everything like that. That required those things. There are clues, but yeah, Jesus' birthday is not December 25th. That's when it's celebrated, mostly because of the Catholic Church taking on the winter solstice celebrations and doing an alternative. Just like now they have the trunk or treat to counteract Halloween. We don't celebrate Halloween in this household. And yes, we do celebrate some Christmas traditions, but we make sure that we put the focus where it's supposed to be. We don't celebrate no bunny rabbit on Easter. Before my daughter was old enough to understand anything, yeah, my daughter's had like one at home little mini Easter egg hunt. So that was just something for fun to do, and because we had friends who celebrated that tradition on Easter. But we go to the dollar store and get the chocolate crosses, not the chocolate bunnies. I know what All Hallows Eve is. I mean, I don't know 100% about Druidism, but I know a decent amount. As I was saying, to have everything you own sitting inside an RV. And then you can't even access most of it, half of it most of the time. Got plumbing that doesn't work proper, electrical that doesn't work proper. I don't even have a generator. We've been in the central slash southwest Texas, Austin, Texas, here, which is borderline on the desert, which is similar to Southern Cal a little bit. We haven't since July, around the beginning of July, we had a generator for 8 days. Bought one and it lasted 8 days. That's the only. That's the last time. The only time in the hottest months we've had air conditioning. Right now, I'm using this little Walmart battery operated fan just to try to stay cool. Oh, look at that. We'll change it up here. Use this as that. Oh, boy. The phone's about to die, but
Excuse me, there is a...
So, try not to cause a echo for the moment. I got that waiting in the wings. Let's see. Okay. Trying not to do that. Was that for a moment? Hopefully, I can still be heard. Oh boy, that phone got hot. Yeah, well, can you see me on this camera? Because that was part of the punishment. Why did the Druids choose that image for their god? But, can you still hear me? They can probably see me. Well, actually, the very first thing Satan's described as is as a serpent in the Garden of Eden. A serpent with legs that the legs were removed and forever to slither on their belly to attack the heels of mankind. What is one thing that's been found in the bones of some snakes? Legs that never grew out. Well, there's science proving that. So, if you're new here, like, subscribe, say hello. Thumbs up, thumbs down, share. Uh, oh boy. clearing some notifications on the other phone. So that I'm not streaming on it. I crack you up, huh? Well, as I've said, don't take my word for anything. Who am I? Just a poor former truck driver trying to survive. Have fun with the Rugrats. Now, if anyone shows up and wants to talk a little more lightheartedly, we can do that. It could change the tone a little. Come on in. I don't bite, my teeth are removed. Can't even nibble a little. Don't be afraid to say hello. What? Oh, what the heck? Huh? Wonder if anybody could hear that on the stream. Shots fired, shots fired. But this is a highly Hispanic area, so. They could be poaching the wild deer, or they could do something else. Talk to me. Yeah. Hello, hello, hello. Is anybody out there? Can anybody hear me? Guess not. Oh, we're up to almost 2 hours of streaming. And yeah, the streams at a different time than my other streams, because try to find the right time slot here. Help me out, people. I've all pretty much found me from other channels. Help me figure out the best time Central to pop a stream together. If you want me to stream more regularly. If not, I'll just keep going random. Like I'm some 1A auditor or something. Even though I'm not doing nothing but sitting here. Can't go nowhere. Get a scooter. So talk to me, talk to me. Say hello. Show me that you love me. Show me that you care. Oh, wave your hands in the air like you just don't care. So, just sitting here doing killing time. Just a chillin' like a villain. Silly old platitudes. What can I do other than pray? Well, I guess that must be it for now. Oh, welcome back, Lee, to me. I was about ready to give up. No, give up the stream, not give up in general. But yeah, it's difficult sitting here talking to thin air. Got the Texas heat. 96 degrees out, 95 inside. Didn't really miss too much. As far as AVA and I go, can agree to disagree, and all I can do is hope that I planted a seed on fertile soil. But unfortunately, I'm afraid there may be too many weeds to crowd it out. Just got to keep trying. That's the problem. Not too many people are willing to get to know who I am. So I'll say all this, not just for you, leading me, but for anyone else who might find this later on. Yes, I'm a Christian. I was initially saved at the age of 7. Wasn't the greatest. I mean, I wanted to be a missionary at 12, 13. Went on a missions trip to Piedras Negras, Mexico through Youth with a Mission out of Lindell/Tyler, Texas. As far as me as an adult, yes, I served a couple years in the Navy. Somewhat reluctantly. Been a truck driver. I've been a security officer. Tried to be a volunteer fire police with a volunteer fire department in New York State. I've also volunteered with Team Rubicon. Went on one deployment to Erie, Pennsylvania years ago. Earned my gray shirt and also did a Wreaths Across America event there at the Bath VA Cemetery in Bath, New York. Amateur radio operator. I believe in doing, public service and income. In fact, some of the videos I have, that my wife took, was of the St. Patrick's Day parade, which is why I'm so big on the St. Patrick's thing, in Syracuse, New York. The St. Patrick's Day parade few months before my daughter was born. I helped with communications for that as a ham radio operator. I've also gotten FEMA certifications, the 1 and 7, the 2 and 8, and also took the 300 and 400 in-person FEMA classes, IS/ICS, Incident Command Structure, to be able to be a better volunteer. I have signed up for Aries races in the past, not currently, just because I'm too mobile to really be of good assistance. I was trying to cross-rate to becoming a hospital corpsman in the Navy before I ended up being discharged, before I could complete that. I tried to become a CNA in Oregon. Been a security officer. Like I said, I've been a security officer. I've been a cashier at a convenience store. And I'm an ordained minister now. My life ultimately has a lot been about service and helping others and being there, trying to be there for others. Yeah, I'm 6'2" and almost 400 pounds these days. I used to be like 6'2" and under 300. I'll just leave it at that. But my faith and everything I've done, I've even worked in customer service and order data entry in Southern Oregon, and also for contract companies that had the contract for the contract I was on was Western Union. Back when Clinton was still president, because he was president when I was in. He was still president when I did that customer service gig at Western Union. And I had the personal displeasure, but I kept my smile on and did my job anyways, of helping an elderly lady send a telegram to then President Clinton during the Monica Lewinsky stuff, encouraging him to not let the Republicans and the accusations and drama get him down. As a conservative and everything else. Yeah, I have my personal opinions upon that, but I did my job. I did it properly. And sent that off to, to the White House mailroom as protocol goes. Didn't change a word. I did exactly what was asked. And did it with a smile on my face. I've I also attended many different things, such as church-based training sessions like on forgiveness, and how to forgive others, which is something we all have to have problems with. And that helped me with an issue I had with a stepfather growing up to get over that a bit. But yeah, I spent my life even before I was an adult. Well, at least, well, under Hebrew traditions, adult, around 12, age of 12. But sometimes in misguided ways, I'll admit, not the best, but a life spent in service for others. But I've also never, ever been someone to kiss up, brown nose, whatever term you want to use. I've always told it like it is. My ex-wife, my first wife, she knew that about me, but still, one day I came home from work. At the time, I think I might have been working 2 jobs even, but I came home from work. She had changed her hair color. And before I got a step in the door, she was asking me what I thought of her hair. Well, being the honest person I am and not having a chance to take it in or anything, I told her it looked like poo. But I used the sugar honey iced tea. No holds barred. I come from a family history of some stubborn mules, as is mentioned in the description. Um, that if we think we're right, we'll argue with a brick wall. So that's who I am. And there was an incident. Speaking of Ireland and everything, there's an incident. Just before we started, we were finally blessed into the RV life. There was a church that had kind of helped us out a little bit, and we were attending it. And boy, the device overheating no matter what I do. There was a church that we were attending, and it was hinted at, oh, we might, sponsor you to be missionaries to Ireland. Okay, sounds great. But then at one point, the pastor asked a simple question. If God told you to go pray, Jesus loves you on the overpass, would you do it? Even though it breaks local laws. I said yes. I didn't hesitate. If God tells me to do it, I'm doing it. And that preacher thought that was the wrong answer because it violated man's laws. Okay, I'm back at the moment. Had a hiccup. The other device overheated and shut the app down. Yeah, that pastor thought following God was the wrong answer. And obviously, we're not in Ireland now as missionaries, so yeah.
Excuse me, there is a message for you.
I'll see if I can hold this stream out a few more minutes and then probably go ahead and shut it down. It's just too darn hot inside this RV without air conditioning. 96 degrees. Boy, oh boy. That time my eyes are stressed. Yeah, 96. Well, at this point, I've resigned, saying unless God clearly says to go somewhere else to say, unless I'm given an opportunity to say pastor a church somewhere else, other than maybe traveling to visit friends across the country and whatnot. Texas is pretty much where I'll be till I die. Of course, Texas is a big enough state that, yeah, plenty of places to travel around here without ever leaving the state. It's going to get pretty chilly here tonight, too. Got these almost triple digits in the daytime, but nighttime's been getting 60s and I believe 40s and 50s tonight. And tomorrow's high is like a 70, so I guess the cold front's moving in. My wife's been paying more attention to the weather than I have because she's been outside more. We have one of those little battery boxes that's used. We don't have a good enough solar panel to keep it charged up, but that, and for the most part, it gets used for my CPAP at night. And then if there's a little extra juice left over, it'll get used to power a fan for a few. A fan that's a lot more powerful than this thing. Ruby, no. No. Couch. Ruby's the dog. Yes, there's an inspector out there dealing with what they're doing. But I think it's taking up the old power and gas lines in this old neighborhood. So it either can be redeveloped or turned into a park or something. Actually, Texas winters are last winter was kind of mild. We didn't need a space heater too much, and there's that, and we're a family of three with a dog. I appreciate the offer, but I don't even know if the RV would actually truly make it that far. Well, not without a few things first, like getting a tire put on. That bought the tire, just haven't had a way to put it on. They have it mounted and balanced because it needs to go on the steer. But Yeah, that and the fuel price alone. I do appreciate the offer. Don't get me wrong. Fuel, but the fuel price to get this RV from here to there, as long as we had a generator, would basically almost pretty much would cover the cost of fuel the whole winter. If that same fuel was put into a generator instead of travel. It's funny how that works. That and this RV has like a lot of black tar on the roof and a tar roof. Oh, there'd be a lot of conflicts. Although my wife would probably enjoy it. You'd be able to get a break. At one point, my wife was a nurse, and when she's in friendly mode, it's a nurse. It's a nurse motherly mode, especially with those that need it. Like out here on the streets and stuff like that. I appreciate it, but I'll be honest. Nothing against you, but we've had in the past and continuing many people say they're going to do something not. Ended up in Ohio from New York. Homeless. We ended up homeless in Ohio because uh, someone I knew online and whatnot sat there and said, "Oh, you can come stay with us." And he had a church that was converted, an old church that was converted into a house, and they were living in the upstairs area. Uh, mm, it all depends. It depends upon how much coffee and chocolate you've had beforehand. Now we feel called to be down here, and even though it's slow going, and a lot of people had a lot of people tell us false things, we know that God's working on certain people's hearts. I mean, at this point, literally, if everybody came through, okay, since I felt led by the Lord that we were doing an RV ministry, our traveling RV ministry, and the full time RV life. Holy, if everybody, if today, or say tomorrow, just say tomorrow, if everybody that had promised us an RV, promised us a generator, or hey, I'll even go slightly back even further. Since me and the wife have been together, all the people have promised things to us. We would have enough washers and dryers to have our own laundromat. We're talking at least about 20 to 30 washers and dryers. We'd have about 15 RVs of different motorhomes, bumper pulls, fifth wheels. And we would have about, at this point, about 35 generators. If everybody showed up tomorrow and delivered on what they originally promised. Since 2015. Oh, and then a couple of houses as well. Do you know how defeated that can make somebody feel? To sit here, just sit. You can't do anything. You can't work. I can't work because of my health. Me being a full time pastor would literally be a full time pastor. Um, yeah, my wife's SSI income would, allow for the whole those churches that can't afford to pay a pastor too much, but as long as they had a parsonage, it wouldn't be too bad. But where are they going with that? But that is literally basically the only job I can do because that's one thing I can do: laying down, sitting up, standing up. You can sit down and preach a sermon on Sunday. You can stand up and preach a sermon on Sunday. Heck, you can just about lay down and preach a sermon on Sunday and go out and travel and visit the people and whatnot. But good luck. Well, that and Sunday mornings. That's only a few hours on one day a week versus a regular 40-hour job, even working customer service, which doesn't pay as much as people think. Unless you're one of the supervisors, and good luck becoming one of those because it's such a convoluted game of politics. That I mean, because I've got probably about 4 or 5 years of customer service under my belt in that specific field. Uh, well, alone if you add things like, oh, I could be a dispatcher, I could do this or that or the other. But yeah, I may have the skill set for it, but because of my back problems and everything like that, I literally have a very odd sleep schedule. If people haven't noticed with my streams and everything, is I could be up all night, or I could sleep a couple hours here, a couple hours there. Whenever my back pain gets so bad, I have to stretch out and lay down, or the swelling in my ankles and stuff from the edema gets so bad that I have to go put my legs up. Now you can't do that in a regular office environment. It's not conducive to productivity. But there's an administrative law judge with SSI that thinks that you can, that employers will make that accommodation, give you basically a recliner at the desk. No, they won't, unless you work from home. And that was before the big work from home push during COVID, because that was pre-COVID. So, yep. So literally the only thing I could do now with my health is preach. The only job per se that has a salary. Yeah, you're well, it's well. Here's a good one for you. It's just like with the VA. The first time I made a request for a mobility scooter back in New York, pre-pandemic. Oh, because the apartment I was in didn't already have a wheelchair ramp and stuff. That was the reason they denied. I didn't have to place the store or be able to a ramp to get inside the store and charge. Um, and it's kind of the same thing that they're pulling now. But yeah, it's like you can't expect a landlord, especially when the main portion of your rent's being paid by welfare, to make such an accommodation. One, when they're a slumlord to begin with, if you don't already have the prescription for the device. Now they said, "Oh yeah, we're going to get you a scooter." I mean, and I even did the little test ride to prove that I had the abilities to control in 3D space without crashing into anything, which doesn't make sense because the wheelchair clinic here in Temple didn't do that. They didn't even weigh me to see what kind of scooter I would need or rollator. But then again, it's obvious I'm over 350 pounds. um, the VA hasn't weighed me in over a year. I think in almost 2 years now. But yes, it does the things. And the fun thing is a lot of that stuff can be accommodated for. Oh, in a laundry room in a home, well, you can always have somebody else do the laundry for you there in the home, or the laundromats have plenty big enough doors. Yeah, it's just anything and everything. And I'm not looking for sympathy or empathy. We to me. Uh, this is just I'm just putting this out in general with this stream, so that way it's completely out there. Um, here's what. Yeah, for the most part, I don't do laundry anymore either. My wife does it, but she's getting to the point where she can't do it either because of her blindness. It's getting really bad. But she's the one that has to go out and do things because I can't go anywhere. That's the worst part. That's the worst part of it all. And I even told the VA this is that my wife needs me to help her, and I can't because I don't have the scooter. But back to what I was about to say. Some of the other stuff we're dealing with the RV situation. Okay, this RV was a replacement for our other one. Our other one was I was the one that bought the other one, so everything that was wrong with it, but the onus was on me. But the generator did work. When it was drivable, it did drive at least from Ohio to Kentucky. But it was a $2,000 RV. I got what I paid for, and that was a blessing from Code of Vets off Twitter, or X as it's now called. Organization called Code of Vets. If you're on that platform, I know you're not much on tech, but they're great. They're great people doing what they're doing. And technically, I still owe them the receipts. um, but things were just so bang, bang, bang that they had to do. So shortly after we got the RV, instead of having to be able to get the receipts, get it sent to them. No, then we had to move out. Then we were parked somewhere, and we were trying to get ourselves situated and have fun with that. And then we got kicked out of there and basically sent packing down the road. So yeah, it was, and yeah, so receipts kind of got lost along the way. And basically the same thing happened when we were given this one as a replacement. The funds were raised mostly by a church in Kentucky. Most of the people of the church, if they knew what was bought for us and the condition of this thing, they would literally have a cow and go after the deaconess that did it. But we've been nice and not been disparaging about it or anything like that. We've tried to at least look at the positive. And of course, what are we supposed to say when you're not part of the decision making is no. The deaconess, she was also the landlord of the property we were staying on. Allegedly, she paid $4,000 for this RV, this Class C motorhome. According to her, everything works and there were no leaks. How wrong she was. The generators never worked. It hasn't worked. Leaks in the front and the back, and the places these RVs always leak, the back wall and the front window area for 80s, 90s RVs would have the front windows up there. Haven't been able to test the hot water tank because the water tank, the water tank, the white tank doesn't hold water because there's a little outside spigot that had the thing cut off. And then when we tried to hook up to city water to bypass, the first time we got this thing to an RV park, apparently there needs to be a new fitting behind the toilet in the bathroom because it just basically sprayed water and leaked straight down onto the ground. And the refrigerator wasn't that good to begin with, and then it basically stopped working even halfway decent about a month into it. I've had to bypass this old thing. The air conditioning and heat don't work in the cab. Because it requires special little motor thing or whatever, that the blender motor or something like that, blender motor actuator or something that's kind of buried between, by the firewall, is what I found to be the common problem. Oh, and if I try to use the radio and the headlights at the same time, I lose both. And that's also random because the headlight switch is messed up to where it can't handle the amperage. Last night when idling the RV to charge up the house battery, because we got the solar, we have a solar panel out hooked up to the system. It's a 120-watt panel. The best says 100, but yeah, that's because of the way we're pointing right now. We don't get the greatest sun to begin with, so we're probably getting about 60 watts out of the sun, average, instead of anywhere close to the 108 that you can get out of that panel when it's brand new. So we have to idle the RV about an hour every night because we don't have a generator to recharge the house batteries other ways. The tires were dry rot on this when we got it. When we got it, none of the clearance lights worked. Now I think I've got all but one working. So I replaced every single one of them, and I had to borrow a ladder to do that, which is scary because of my weight. There's not a ladder out there that is weighted for 350 pounds or more. They usually stop at about 300 pounds. So it's one of those I have to be very careful. Don't break under me, especially the aluminum ones. Aluminum. Okay. Back to the fun stuff. Yeah. Let's see. The antenna crank didn't crank properly, but that's minor. That's nothing. The mattresses, the springs are coming through them. Hello, dear. I'm just kind of going over all the fun stuff that we deal with with this RV, or at least that it came, all the fun stuff that it came with, all the problems it came with. Oh, speaking of which, one of those was the wiring to what should be the 7-way pin at the back was all cut and tore out. So, and I'm just saying all this again, like I say, not directed for sympathy from you, we to me. This is just getting it out there on the stream to where somebody comes in later and sees it and listens and watches, and they can get past the earlier sermon and religious discussion with AVA that they understand. Because one of the things I mentioned in the beginning was, 2.5 hours ago, was that most people, especially in a first world country like the U.S., would not be able to walk a day in mine or my wife's shoes. And I'm just going over the mechanical stuff that requires money we don't have, and it was given to us like that. So literally, we asked for bread and we were given a stone when it came to this RV. And like I said, it was, and neither me nor my wife were part of the process in the search. Because I constantly ask them, "Hey, what's the budget?" So I can get on Marketplace, Facebook, and Craigslist and whatever, and I can look around and try to see what's out there, and to try to assist in the search because I knew they were busy doing their other jobs or whatever. Now, everything I've said doesn't include the health problems, and we were also donated to the car before the RV that now the transmission's gone out of, but just to get it truly street legal, because Kentucky don't have inspections on the cars like a lot of those states do, safety inspections. Like making sure the headlights work, the tail lights, the tag light, or registration light, the plate light, how you want to refer to it, depending on what state you're in. Uh, you know, Batteries, alternators, just to get it, not including insurance. I already paid insurance for a month and a half before even laying eyes on this car. Um, it costs another $250 in parts and things for the car to make it what I consider properly street legal and safe. Buying bulbs, buying fuses, buying some parts. Because one of the first things we had to do was replace the battery in it because the old battery had died because it was sat so long and toasted itself out by sitting, doing that. And now, 2 years after having the car for 2 years, the transmission blew, and I do mean it blew. It sounded like that little dinky car, ran over a motorcycle. Clank, clank, clank. Um, so now it sits on a tow dolly, and the tow dolly ain't the greatest either, but whatever. Um, but that was the gift horse, and of course, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Or that's the way I was brought up, anyways. But sometimes you want to reach back and slap them and say, "What the hell are you thinking?" You know, they'll account for it in the end. Uh, Now that same person did turn around and renew the registration on the car once and the RV twice since we've been here in Texas. But I think it's partly because she may not have spent the full $4 for this RV. Because I wouldn't have even paid $2 for this RV in the condition it's in. or in the condition it was in when we first laid eyes on it. But that's all the mechanical or mechanical structural stuff there. And of course, most of the 12-volt light bulbs didn't and still don't work because I've had to slowly replace and get at least one working light bulb and every fixture so that way you can at least turn on a light when needed when there is house, house battery powered up. Now, getting into the health problems. I'm wide open with what my problems are. I have, as diagnosed by the VA, by proximal positional vertigo, but I think actually part of that is because a tumor as a child has returned, but the MRI that the VA ordered was below the nose, and this tumor is like was up here. So an MRI is not going to catch it if it's down here. Um, Conveniently, I ended up getting lymphatic edema. The VA placed it into a handicap placard, and it took me literally until last summer to get it put into my record. Degenerative disc disease from osteoarthritis. Okay. Yes, and a lot of this is very similar to if you're watching that other drama what someone else claims. And that's what sucks about all this. Sucks, but it's kind of interesting. And I can't wait to see what the Lord has in store that why he would disconnect, enter anyway. Uh, Honey, if you're still here, help me. I've got the sleep apnea. I have COPD. I have basically acid reflux, gastritis, whatever that gastric reflux, yeah, whatever they call it. But basically acid reflux. I have a meprazole. They give me a meprazole. Uh, I have some ulnar nerve issues on both sides. Now, and long time prior to all this, I strained my right rotator cuff, and it's never been the same when I worked for Lowe's in 2007. And in 2001, well, first in like, what was it? First in 1993, I fractured my ankle, left ankle. Closed fracture is just basically walking boot and let it heal. Then in 2001, I forgot to mention this. Yeah, that first time of messing my ankle up was right around my birthday in April. And in 2001, right around my birthday, pre 9/11, I got clipped by coworkers. Basically spun me around, and the trailer ran over the foot and broke both bones in my ankle. So I have a total of what's remaining. Well, I had up to a plate and 10 screws. So the 10th screw went across to stabilize both bones, and then was reduced to a plate, metal plate, and 9 screws. So 6 in the plate, 1 crossing the bone in the middle of the plate, and then 2 that crisscross on the other side. Basically, I was told, well, one, I was told by the orthopedic surgeon that the only real other time he's seen that kind of injury was from professional football players like the Seattle Seahawks. I've seen that kind of breakage. And I rode from Portland to Seattle all day with it like that. That is not fun. But yeah, now I still have that problem with it, and that's causing other secondary and tertiary issues because you walk differently when you have pain on an injured limb, especially an ankle. So you shift your weight accordingly, and then that screws with your hips and knees and other fun stuff. Uh, let's see. And yeah, so well, the VA clocked me at basically being able to try to get 100 feet. Normally, I can barely get 20 feet. I can barely walk around the RV. Actually, I can't really, but without being super winded, super tight, and hurting like the Dickens. And some days I feel my vision's not doing so great, but I think the vision part's just old age. uh, that's a majority of my health problems, or at least the worst of them. I know I'm probably missing one or two. My wife will have to help me with that one. She's still listening. And then on her side, oh, that's the one thing I don't have is diabetes. My A1C is considered elevated. I'm up around 6, but 5.7, 6.1 in there the last time it was checked. But I don't have diabetes. No diabetes here. Um, and my wife's problems is, oh, they don't realize how many other problems come from diabetes. In fact, a lot of the problems I have, you would think I'm diabetic. That's the one thing I'm missing out of that arsenal. But my wife's problem, as I mentioned earlier, is blindness. She's legally blind, and her blindness is getting worse. I'm about to die. Oh, 1%. Surprised it held out this long. Just want to say goodbye and continue this later. So, yeah, blindness, cancer, hip impingement. Those are just some of my wife's issues. And we're talking about ovarian cysts and breast cancer. So, lymphatic breast cancer that she's already had once before and now has it again, amongst other issues. This will hold out a couple more minutes, probably not, but because I know it's hot and doesn't want to charge. But yeah, and then getting poked in by springs that have poked through the mattresses that came with the RV. Oh, and the problem we developed here in Texas is cockroaches, and a problem we've been fighting off and on for years, thanks to New York State, is, I hate to say it because it makes you seem like you're unclean when you're not. You make it be as clean as possible. That's bed bugs. And without money to replace things like mattresses and buy all the chemicals and basically shove this thing in a tent and spray it out while we're off in a hotel or something. Without that kind of money, one of those constant battles every day, every hour of every day. Oh, the worst part is we have to have measured them out, and I have to order RV bunk mattresses or cot mattresses, which the cheapest I can find via Walmart is around 90 to $100, and just shoots up in price from there. Oh yeah, and you can be the cleanest person in the world, the most OCD, everything, and it's almost impossible. And then, of course, some days are worse than others, especially when you have a dog that wants to protect you and goes and lays down in your bed to make sure that they're the ones getting bit instead of you. But all they're doing is basically feeding the bed bugs that come back, even more of them later. Well intentioned, trying to protect, but yeah, doing more harm than good. But I'm literally 0%, so